Marcus Rivera had always been stubborn. His fellow miners on station Kepler 442 called it foolishness. His supervisor called it insubordination. But Marcus called it being human. The warning had come from Captain Hayes himself. Don't talk to her, Rivera. The Zephyrian Queen isn't here for friendship. She's here for the negotiations, nothing more. Keep your head down, do your job, and pretend they don't exist. But how could Marcus pretend that Queen Veltar and her daughter didn't exist when they sat in the station's observation lounge every day at 1400 hours, staring out at the twin suns of the Kepler system? The Queen, with her elegant crystalline features that shifted between deep purple and silver depending on the light, remained as still as a statue. Her daughter, no more than a juvenile by Zephyrian standards, fidgeted with what looked like a small holographic device. For 3 weeks, Marcus had followed orders. For 3 weeks, he'd walked past them during his lunch break, tools clanking on his belt, avoiding eye contact. For 3 weeks, he'd watched other station personnel give them an even wider berth, whispering behind their backs about the dangerous aliens and their ulterior motives. But on the 22nd day, something changed. The young Zephyrian, Princess Kira Vel, according to the station briefings, had dropped her device. It skittered across the polished floor, coming to rest near Marcus's boots. The princess looked up at him with eyes like liquid starlight, clearly afraid to approach the human. Every protocol, every warning, every piece of advice screamed at Marcus to kick the device back and walk away. Instead, he bent down, picked it up, and walked over to them. "I believe this belongs to you," Marcus said gently, offering the device to the princess. Queen Veltar's features shifted to a sharp amber. What Marcus had learned from the cultural briefings meant extreme caution, but Princess Kira Vel's eyes widened with something that looked remarkably like gratitude. "Thank you," the princess whispered in heavily accented standard. "Most humans, they do not—" Kira. Her mother's voice carried the harmonics that made Zephyrian speech sound like wind chimes. "We should not burden this human." Marcus found himself sitting down beside them uninvited. "No burden at all. I'm Marcus, by the way. I work in the mining operations." The Queen's crystalline features rippled, with what Marcus couldn't interpret, but she didn't tell him to leave. Her daughter, however, practically glowed with excitement. "I am Kira Vel, and this is my mother, Queen Veltar of the 7th Spiral. Are you really a miner? Do you go into the deep places where the crystals sing?" Marcus chuckled. "The crystals sing? Is that what you call it when the resonance frequencies align during extraction?" For the first time in 3 weeks, Queen Veltar spoke directly to him. "You understand the crystal harmonics?" "Well, I understand that certain frequencies make the mining easier and safer. We've been struggling with the deeper veins. They seem to resist our traditional methods." The Queen's features shifted to a soft blue. May I show you something?" Marcus nodded, and Queen Veltar placed her hand on the observation window. Suddenly, the glass resonated with a low, beautiful tone that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Princess Kira Vel giggled and placed her smaller hand next to her mother's, adding a higher harmony. "The crystals are not resisting," Queen Veltar explained. "They are lonely. Your machines extract without singing back. The crystals think you do not hear them." Over the following days, Marcus began spending his lunch breaks with the Zephyrian royalty. He learned that they weren't on the station for mining rights negotiations, as everyone believed. They were refugees. Their homeworld had been consumed by a stellar collapse, and they were among the last of their kind. The Galactic Council promised. "U.S. Sanctuary," Queen Veltar confided one day, her features a deep, sad violet. "But sanctuary feels much like imprisonment when no one will speak to you." Marcus shared stories of Earth, of humanity's own struggles and migrations among the stars. In return, Kiravel taught him simple Zephyrian harmonics, and he discovered he had a natural talent for it. Queen Veltar showed him how the crystals could be harvested in harmony rather than extracted by force, increasing yield by 300% while reducing environmental damage to near zero. When Captain Hayes discovered what Marcus had been doing, he was furious. "Rivera, you've compromised our entire operation. They could be gathering intelligence, using you." But Marcus stood his ground. "Sir, they've helped us solve our extraction problems. They've shared technology that could revolutionize our mining operations. And they did it not because they had to, but because someone finally treated them like people instead of threats." The breakthrough came when a solar storm knocked out the station's primary shields. The automated systems failed, and conventional backup power wasn't enough to protect the station's inhabitants from the radiation. Queen Veltar and Princess Kiravel, without being asked, used their natural harmonic abilities to create a resonance field that not only protected everyone but actually strengthened the station's hull integrity. As the crew gathered in the observation lounge afterward, watching the aurora-like effects of their salvation dance across the station's hull, Captain Hayes approached the Queen. "Your Majesty," he said formally, "I owe you an apology. And I owe Rivera here a commendation." Queen Veltar's features shifted to a warm gold. "Captain, we ask for nothing but what you have already given us, a chance to belong somewhere." Marcus smiled as he watched Princess Kiravel teaching other crew members the harmonic techniques that had saved them all. Sometimes, he reflected, the most human thing you could do was to treat others as human, regardless of what they looked like or where they came from. The Zephyrians had found their sanctuary, and humanity had gained something far more valuable than mining rights. They had gained friends willing to share their knowledge and risk their lives to protect others. Later, Marcus would learn that Queen Veltar's decision to help during the solar storm had been broadcast across Zephyrian communication networks throughout the galaxy. Within a year, Kepler 442 became the first station to host a permanent Zephyrian diplomatic mission. The mining techniques they shared revolutionized resource extraction across human space. But on that day, sitting beside an alien queen and her daughter as they watched the stars, Marcus simply enjoyed the fact that he had been human enough to say hello when everyone else said goodbye. Sometimes, the greatest discoveries came not from following orders, but from following your heart.